How's it going, guys? Patel here, and this is the highly anticipated review of the Dell XPS 15. Starting off with design, Dell has stepped up their game indefinitely with this one. Right off the bat, you'll notice that the XPS 15 has a striking new design and look, just like that of the earlier XPS 13 from this year. Chamfered edges are to be found all across the device, and not to mention, it's machined from a single block of aluminum, much like most of the other laptops out there. But this one blends in carbon fiber with the build to give it a unique look. On the bottom of the device, we could see that Dell's trying to maintain quite a clean look. Down over here, we have the service hatch. If you open it up, it'll have all your regular information about the laptop. Here we have the ventilation for the dual intake fans, which I love. In fact, the fans put out rarely any noise and they're super efficient. These two are the rubber pads we have to rest the device. I prefer these over the circles, they just stay on surfaces better. Up the front, we have the two front firing speakers, and do not be fooled, the audio on this laptop is phenomenal. Coming around to the left side of the device, we could see there's quite an expansive I/O. We have the power port at the very left, followed by a USB Type-A 3.1 connector. Then we have a full HDMI out, followed by a USB Type-C and Thunderbolt combo port, followed by a 3.5mm headphone jack. On the right side of the device, we have the Kensington lock at the very right, followed by the lights which indicate the battery level once you push that button right there. After that, we have a full USB Type-A 3.1 connector again, and we have a micro SD HC card reader. Now, this is quite an expansive I/O for how razor thin the laptop is. Talking about thin, the front looks super sleek. However, there is one thing I don't like about the laptop: the hinge. As you saw right there, I had to use two hands to make sure the laptop didn't lift up. Unlike Apple with their MacBooks, Dell did not get the pressure quite right on the hinge for the XPS 15, so it's impossible to open and close with one hand. Speaking of hinges, the hinges themselves contain ventilation ducts for the intake fans at the bottom. Now, this is where all the hot air will blast out of the device, so be careful when you're doing intensive tasks not to rest your hands or take them too close to the top. It gets a little toasty, but there's nothing that's going to sear your fingers off. In fact, the thermals on this laptop are quite outstanding for the power it packs under the hood. The carbon fiber on the laptop is a nice touch. Quite literally, when you're using the keyboard or trackpad, resting your hand on the carbon fiber area feels smooth and nice. It's quite comforting. The carbon fiber also picks up grease marks very easy. In fact, just scrubbing my palm along the area will leave grease marks on the rest. I had to scrub it down quite a bit with a damp cloth just to get it as clean as it looks. Carbon fiber also keeps the laptop lightweight. Up front and center, we have arguably one of the hottest selling points of this laptop: the display. The one I have here is a full HD 1080p matte display, and I love it. It's an IGZO panel, which means it has 100% Adobe sRGB color and 72% Adobe ARGB, which is print color. Overall, it's an outstanding screen. Speaking of the screen, that bezel though, and this is Dell's marketing at work. They call it the Infinity Edge display, and I have to say, this display hands down beats anything else on the market today. It allows for the laptop to be thin while also being a joy to look at. In this quick sound test, the XPS 15 managed to get 83 decibels of sound out at a room which had about 32 decibels of ambient noise. Hear the sound for yourself. One of the most important parts about any laptop is its trackpad and keyboard, because it's how you interface with the device. Dell has really stepped up their game this time. Their trackpad is larger than the one on the previous XPS 15. They say it's about 40% larger than the previous trackpad, and it's super accurate. The glass finishing is nice. It supports multi-touch gestures, which were built into Windows 10. There aren't any additional ones you could program, but there are the ones that come standard with Windows 10. Overall, the trackpad feels great on my finger. It's accurate, it's clicky, and its palm rejection is also quite robust. Moving on to the keyboard, Dell has really stepped up their game with the new XPS 15. The keyboard is pretty much the same as the XPS 13 from earlier this year, but this keyboard does address and fix some issues on the 13. The key travel is a little deeper because people did complain the 13 had a shallow key travel, and the keys are spaced a little bit more outward, which makes for a better typing experience overall. The keys are really snappy and they come back real quick even with the slightest pressure. I know people don't prefer these type of keys, but personally, I'd take this keyboard over almost any other keyboard any day. I love it. And as you can see, Dell has minimized the keyboard flex, but it's still prevalent, as you can see. But in a normal typing situation, you'll never be pressing this hard on the keyboard at all. So the biggest question from everybody is probably, how does this baby perform? It has an Intel Core i7-6700 HQ along with 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM clocked at 2133 MHz, along with a GTX 960M from NVIDIA with 2 gigs of GDDR5 video memory. Does it live up to its specs or does it lag behind? And as you can see, this beast handles anything you throw at it pretty much. As you see, I ran Black Ops 3 first, it's in the background now. Then I switched to my remote server connection. I am a computer science major, so I do use Remote Connect to do my homework. And right now, I'm firing up Premiere Pro, and it's loading like a champ off of that fast SM951 NVMe PCI Express 4-lane SSD. Boy, that's a mouthful. If you're a normal user, all you need to know is this thing will handle any task and can multitask like a beast. Speaking of beast, I ran the PC Mark 8 work test, the accelerated version, and this baby scored a whopping 4669. It's just 150 points behind Oculus's recommended specs for VR experience, which is absolutely insane. This machine will definitely handle work tasks and fly through pretty much anything you throw at it. If you need a powerhouse in a small, thin, light package, this is the ultimate Windows dream machine for you. That's all great, as long as this laptop can hold a charge, right? So, what's the battery life like? Absolutely astounding. I was able to squeeze out around 13 hours of life from this laptop while I was using it under light loads at 25% brightness. And believe me, 25% brightness indoors is more than enough for this display. My light load usually consists of browsing multiple sites at once, one for news, one for social media, one for browsing Reddit, and also opening up and watching a couple of YouTube videos every now and then. Under heavier use, such as using Premiere Pro continuously, I was able to squeeze out anywhere from 8 to 10 hours of battery life. And that really depended on whether or not I had some music streaming services open in the background or was watching YouTube videos along the way. The more I used it for multitasking, the less the battery lasted, which is practical. If you need a laptop that can last you throughout a workday or typical school day, the XPS 15 is definitely up to the task. Overall, the new Dell XPS 15 is truly a feat of modern engineering. Dell managed to pack an enormous amount of power under the hood of a device which is made from machined aluminum and carbon fiber. It has a unique two-tone design, which is timeless and looks great no matter where you might be. And the performance is built to handle pretty much anything you'd want to throw at this laptop. And it does so while lasting an entire day. Overall, I have to say, this is probably the best Windows machine for the everyday user out there today. I would have no problem recommending this to pretty much anybody, especially if you're a college student looking for a MacBook Pro alternative like I was. This is the device to pick. In fact, if you're looking for an alternative to a MacBook Pro for any reason, go with the XPS 15. I assure you, you will not be let down. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been my review of the Dell XPS 15. I just love this laptop and can't wait to use it every day this coming few years. If you like what you saw, please hit that subscribe button. I have more content coming this November, and I can't wait to get to it. So, have a good day, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm Patel, and I'm out.